So yeah, it's not a problem. Or if we go back to the marketplace idea, products of course, and everything else you want to store like forever and retrieve from the server. That also means that when I get a response from the AI now, when I use my app, it's in my browser. You guys can't see that, never, ever, ever, never. But if I were to take that result and put it down here, your app, when you use my app, you have your own web page, and you can access the same database, finding that. Same as Google, if we search for the same thing, we can find the same thing, because in the database in the US or wherever. And this is what you can do. And just to give you a glimpse that it's not hard, I'll just do that. And let's say I want to store AI responses. So I want to create a box storing the responses forever. So, and I would say that's a typical thing. Let's say you build a content creation tool like this, and your user says, I wrote something last week, what was that? Of course you want to help them say, yeah, here they are, what do you want? So let's store, create a box for AI responses. And the smart thing is that an AI response is done like a container. It can contain anything you want about a response. So you recognize this from creating a state. It's basically the same, but now we're instead of creating that, we're creating a box down here. But it's the same, which is good because then we know what it is. So, generated text, and that is a text, nothing new there. And then I just create. And then I can do something fun. I can do generated image, which is of course an image. So each AI response I get, I can now for each run to OpenAI, each call to OpenAI, I can store the text and the image, and then I can store for the next time the user calls OpenAI, I'll create a new AI response with that text and image, and on it goes. And of course, I can also add, because let's say we do this, and we have a trillion billion AI responses stored, but you wouldn't want me to read yours, and vice versa. So of course, Bubble allows me to say, we will tag Peter's responses with Peter, and your response with you, and so on. So it's private, it's like an account. So I would say from day one, you will allow users to have accounts in your apps, because that's the way to make things private, of course, and a way to start building them, nevertheless. So I will actually connect this to the user, because I said that even in your app, which maybe not have nothing else, you still have this data type, this box for users. So that comes out of the box without question. And when I now have added that to Where is my, let's just do that. Yeah, AI responses. So now you see I have a box to store the image, I have a box to store the text, and I have a box with a link to the user. So this way now I can make sure, my app can make sure that everything that is stored is linked to that user that is logged into my app. So that when I create something, it's for me. When you create something, it's for you. And I will never ever be able to see it. Because that is, of course, key, that privacy. And Bubble is pretty good at that. No, that was a bad way of phrasing it. Bubble is good at that. Bubble gives you industry standard security by default. Kaboom! That's no code for you. And that's, of course, you have to know that there are a few screws to manipulate the stuff, but it's what we done the last couple of days. It's just, that's the way I do it. It's not hard. So it's just another thing to learn. Do these things with you, but time is permitting. I mean, you also have to digest. I know how it is. I know exactly how it is. And I actually allow myself to immerse and then just take a step back and say, yeah, see you another day, to let it sink in. Yeah.
Do you have any published products that also just use our phones or still
I work with both. So I put apps on app stores and also like this, or just web pages. Is that your question?
No, that's